Start with the recording. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Posse info session. I will try to be very brief about what I know and what our, kind of like role is as counselors from, Ms. Gonzalez and Ms. Silva and myself. And the most important part of this meeting is the Q&A, because I know you guys have so many questions. And also for the current seniors that went through the process, to let us know any advice that they have for you and what it entails. So I will share my screen now, and can everyone see it? Yes, okay, perfect. So I just wanna share with you that throughout the years, we've had a lot of Posse scholars to all these universities, and this year it was not an exception. We have two Posse scholars, Kunga and August, and again, they'll talk more about their college or their experience in the program. So the Posse scholarship is a very interesting and very particular scholarship. It's not a scholarship that is open to any university. It's only with the participant colleges and only with these partners. So to begin with, you have to like these colleges if you want to apply to the Posse or enter the Posse scholarship. If you only like one of them and not really any of the others, then this might not necessarily work for you. It's important that, how would you know if you like them? It's important that you do your research on these colleges and see what they offer, etc. So we have a total of 14 spots at Nest. Now, we invited 26 students. Each year, a lot of students get nominated. So, but each year, after the students take a look at the scholarship, how it works, some students decide not to do it, or that it's not the best way of applying, and that's okay. That's why we have this meeting, for you guys to think about it and to make a decision. And if this is not the best way for you to apply, then that's fine. We move on to regular applying and other opportunities that we might have. Now, as you see, we have 5 STEM spots, and there are a lot of questions about regular spots versus STEM spots. Essentially, the STEM spots are more for students who are leaning towards STEM. That doesn't mean that you necessarily have to or won't be able to explore other majors. I'll share this PowerPoint with you guys so that you see the Q&A about the STEMs. You could double major or minor in non-STEM fields. If the Posse committee feels that, hey, this candidate might not necessarily fit for a STEM candidate, they'll put you on a regular spot. So, they'll look for your, if we nominated you for a spot, a STEM spot or STEM nomination, they will look at your science and math courses that you've taken, and of course, interest. Now, Posse is very, very different than any other scholarships in the way they evaluate candidates. Usually, the application goes first to scholarship, they evaluate the paperwork, the essay, etc. But Posse is very different. They first do the interview, and they go through different phases of interviews. And then at the end, if you become a finalist, you submit your application. And again, I will let the students talk about this. So if you are entered as a nominee and officially, by August and September, you will be asked to do an interview, the first large group interview. Next year, it will also be through Zoom. So it's good that we have current seniors right now, because they will tell you what their experience was through Zoom. And then if you move on to the next phase, October, November, you will have an individual interview, and then the final interview. Throughout this process, you will be making decisions. For example, if you move on to the next phase and you decide that, again, this might not be the best way for you to apply, and you decide to drop, then, you know, you have to be in constant communication with us about your process. Or if you move forward and it's already close to November, and you say, wait, this is sort of like an ED application, and it might not work, and I'd rather just drop and apply ED somewhere else, then, you know, that's also a conversation that we would have at that point. And then in early December, we send your Common App, just like any other college, to the Posse committee, and I send your transcript and everything else. Very important, very, very important. Throughout this process, if you decide to enter the Posse process, you're still responsible for having a regular college list. Why? This process is not guaranteed. It's very competitive. It's amazing, and that's why it's competitive. And you have to have a mindset that this might or might not work. And while this could be your priority, we still need to have a backup plan with a regular college list, with your college essay, with, you know, you will be working at the same time as if Posse was on the side. I always share a very personal experience with my brother, who now goes to NYU. He was entered for the Posse. He was a finalist, but then at the very, very end, he was not selected. So at that point, you know, he had to immediately work on the rest of his applications and submit them. So that's something that we always have to keep in mind. I have to be realistic with you. Now, how does it work? Right now, after this, on June 1st, the deadline to express that you were very interested, that this is what you want, understanding that this is sort of like a binding process, that you will continue with the process, do the interviews, and if you are a finalist, you will be applying sort of like ED. It's not a regular ED in which you apply, you sign the contract. It's ED in the sense that you will get entered to the scholarship, and if admitted, you will go there. Then on Friday, if we have more than 14 students interested, we will meet again, Ms. Silva, with other members of the community to kind of like evaluate everyone and notify who was entered as the final nominee. And then your application for Posse is due on July 9th. If you're entered, we'll need your cell phone number, and you will need to check your email, etc. So, I think that was it for my presentation. Before we open for Q&A, I really would like to open the mic for our current seniors. If you guys could, you know, tell us about what was the most confusing thing at first, or what do you think is the most important thing about this program that a student should know? What would be helpful?
Okay, hi. So I'm August. I'm going to go to Middlebury, up in Vermont. So I don't really know where to start exactly, but it's a very unique process. Test scores are they're a little important, and like it's good to take your SATs and stuff and do well. However, it's not a typical college process in that your test scores are everything. The DAP, like DAP, dynamic assessment process, is composed of like, I think it was 3 different interviews over the course of like, I think it was between August and I want to say November, December. So they're spread out, and like between each interview is different. The first one is a group one. I'm sorry, it's a while ago. But the first one was a group one, I believe, and then some people get knocked out and some people move on. And then the second one is you alone with 2 other Posse people, someone asking questions and someone taking notes. And then the third and final interview was another group one. And yeah, but between the second and third interview, They will tell you if you've moved on to the next level, to the third interview. However, this is the last point at which you can drop out. So you can drop out of the process at any point, but not after that. There's like a certain date. I think it was like November like 25th or something, or December 1st, something like that. And so they tell you if you've made it to the next round, and then you have the last opportunity to quit. And then if you decide to move on, that's basically an ED agreement, early decision. And so it's not like other colleges where you can get accepted ED regardless of money. It's like ED to the scholarship program. So if you can apply any other ED decisions to any other schools. However, if you don't like get the actual scholarship at the end, you can still apply to Middlebury without the scholarship, as well as other schools. So Posse has this thing where if you apply to any of their partner schools, but you didn't finish the process, but you made it part of the way, it will like kind of give you a boost. It'll kind of help you out a bit. So for example, if I didn't make it through the process, but I still want to apply to Middlebury, like, oh, one of my friends at Nest is going to Middlebury with me, which I'm excited for. But they did not they made part of the process, but did not make it the whole way, but they still got into Middlebury, and it probably helped them, or the process actually like introduced Middlebury to them. So yeah, trying to think. Yeah, it's just all a very unique process. I can't really speak for the in-person one, because there's a good chance that part of the process will be in person this year, because vaccines and regulations and all that are changing.
I think it will be through Zoom again.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
No, yeah. Yeah.
All right. So maybe Kunga, is there anything that you feel that it's important to note, or you want to add to what August mentioned, or Valerie, Patrick?
Yeah, especially about the SAT. Like I didn't submit my SAT, and it didn't really matter. Nor did essays, because that was towards the end. Towards the beginning, if you wanna like proceed through the process, you really have to like, I don't know, like interact with people, because it's kind of difficult in Zoom, because usually in real life, they would like, I don't know, see how you interact with other people, and that's like the main part, because they really want to see your like character. It's kind of hard to do in Zoom, but like, I don't know, just like say and like keep like talking in chat, and like keep talking as much as you can, because you want to be noticed by the people who's watching you, which is kind of weird, but it's
Yeah, that's
don't like try too hard. Sorry. They can usually tell if you're trying too hard, so like don't force it, I guess.
That's a very good point. They want you, they're looking for, as you can see, they're looking for leaders. They're looking for someone that would be proactive, that take lead, that will support others. And that the grades, I'm not saying that they're not important, or the essay, but that component is at the end. They're looking for your personality, for how well you do with others, and they're looking for a diverse group of students. Each college will select 10 schools from New York City. So for example, Middlebury Posse has only 10 students across New York, and August is one of them. Same thing with Kunga for Brandeis. So they want each posse of 10 students to be very diverse. So don't feel that you don't have something unique. You will select it here because you have that. And you know, the interview process is your opportunity to demonstrate that. Valerie and Patrick, would you like to add anything or any advice?
Not much. I guess it was a pretty important point that you brought up. If most of the colleges on there, or you're only interested in one college in Posse, then it might not be the best choice for you because you might get matched to another one that you weren't really interested in.
And yes, how does it work with matching? I heard that in the second phase, you kind of have to narrow it down to 5 schools that you're really interested, and then 3 schools, and then out of the 3, you get matched. Can anyone please clarify that?
Yeah. So in the second round of interview where it's like one-on-one, or like one of the questions is they want you to list the schools that you're interested in, like 1, 2, 3, and you have to like kind of like show interest in them and like talk about them and do research on them, because that kind of determines in the next round if you're gonna be the finalist for that. So you gotta do a lot of research and like kind of show that you're really interested in these schools, basically.
Because they want to match you with something that you are fully aware of what you're getting yourself into, that you know the school, that you know that you will fit there, and start narrowing down to top 3 colleges and know everything about those colleges. So now, unless the seniors think, or Ms. Silva or Ms. Gonzalez would like to add anything else, we could open it up for questions.
Covered a lot of the important parts. I think we could definitely open it up for questions.
Okay, great. So now this is your opportunity to ask any questions you have about anything. Somebody asked, can we choose any of the Posse's partnered colleges or only the ones that were shown on the slide / email?
So unfortunately, you can only choose from the options provided, because those are the New York, or it's New York City, because I think it's by city. So like there's Chicago and there's Los Angeles, but New York City, these are the colleges. As for like if you apply to these schools outside of the Posse process, if you choose to not complete it or you don't make it all the way, you can still get like that boost I was talking about earlier, for all of the colleges, not just the New York City ones.
Great question. Somebody else has a different question? Are students able to take a gap year? That I might have to inquire about, because the goal of the Posse is that you remain with your cohort throughout the 4 years. So I don't know if that's possible, but I could definitely email them.
I would imagine that it wouldn't be possible, because the name Posse comes from the fact that they're creating this posse or network of support throughout your 4 years. So the intention is that you start off with this posse and continue with it until you graduate. We can definitely find out, but I highly doubt it.
Another question is, are we able to choose majors? Anyone wants to answer?
Yeah, we're able to choose majors. When you apply in the last round, you can just like say what your interest in majors. That's it.
And also keep in mind, this is a network. This is number 1, a scholarship. Number 2, a network of support. But besides that, you have your regular college experience as everyone else, with an additional network of support. The scholarship, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe the scholarship covers tuition only. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. So depending on your financial aid documents, some colleges might be able to cover room and board depending on your finances. Some others, if you're not eligible, then the scholarship would only cover tuition. Now, this scholarship is not need-based. This is merit and leadership, sort of demonstration. They do not look at your finances to be eligible for the scholarship.
All right, we have a couple questions. The next one up, is there an online timeline of the process with dates and everything? Is there somewhere that we can see this year's dates? I think that there is somewhere.
I mean, I could share the slides with you right now. The timeline that we have is up until July 9th. June 1st, you confirm if you want to move forward. June 4th, we notify you if you were a final nominee. And then from there, on July 9th, is the deadline to finish all your application on Posse, and from there, schedule your first interview. So your first interview will be in the summer, end of September, and then from there, you will be scheduling each of these interviews.
Okay, next question. Is the match made before or after the time that you need to commit? Maria, do you mean the match, the offer from the college or the Posse scholarship?
I mean, like, do you know, like, do you commit that you're going to do it before you know which school you're committing to? Or do you say, oh, you got offered this spot and you can say yes or no?
So you become when you are in the final round, they tell you you are a finalist for blank college. And that's when you decide, okay, yes, out of those 3 that I picked or selected, I definitely want to move forward with this. Or, I don't know, this college was in my, was ranked number 3. I rather just apply regular to my top choice and drop it. But you'll get to know at the very end.
Good question, Amaria. Okay, next question. When we get to the college, do we have to do anything there? August, Kunga, maybe you can speak to what you know so far about your responsibilities with Posse.
Okay, so I think it's every other week there are meetings with your Posse and your advisor or advisors. And there are also, I forget how often these are, but there are also meetings just one-on-one, you and your advisor, or one of your advisors if you have multiple. So they kind of like keep helping you through the process. There are also like great resources like career advisors and academic advisors who work for Posse, whether for the whole organization or specifically the Middlebury branch, and like financial and all that. So that's really helpful. But there are still there are still meetings, I believe, every other week. But while you're still in high school, there are meetings once a week. After, I think it started in January or February. And the last one is in July.
So it's a commitment. It's certainly a commitment to the scholarship, to the organization. Next question. And I know, August, you spoke to this earlier. Perhaps you can just reiterate. At what point can you drop out of the process or of the scholarship application?
You're able to like drop out of the process before the last like that interview, I guess. Other than that, I don't think you can drop out once you're like already in it or something, but I'm not really sure.
I mean, obviously you're not binded to the process, but keep in mind that because it is competitive, and we're giving you the opportunity to analyze the program, to read, to get informed, and there are limited spots. We want to make sure that if you say yes, that this is something that you would like to move forward with at different stages. Obviously, things change, and we want to make sure that you make the best decision for yourself. And each year with finalists, I have a conversation and we talk about, hey, should I move forward? What should I do? So it's okay, So somebody said, yeah, none of the process is binding until you agree to commit. Yep. So we have a few more minutes left. This is the time to ask any questions. Please, take advantage of the seniors that are here. Valerie, Kunga, August. I'm not sure if Patrick is still in the meeting. But please
So,
ask.
so while you guys think about your questions, and if you have any, I just kind of want to go over the process. So you were invited to this information session because some teachers mentioned that you might be a good candidate for the scholarship. So Miss Alba sent you an email with a form. So after this session and after you do a little research and check out the Posse website, look at the PowerPoint, and if you have any questions, let us know. But you need to fill out that survey and form and let us know whether you're interested in this scholarship. Because what Miss Alba and I will actually do is take all that information and the people who are interested and actually narrow it down to the actual nominees and candidates. And like she said, there are 14 spots. So we will have to then choose who those candidates are going to be. So make sure that you fill out that form, check out the email, and make sure you adhere to the deadlines. That's very important.
And to add on to what Ms. Silva said, if you're not interested after reading, if you don't think this is for you, if you rather go choose the regular route and not worry about, narrowing it down to the schools or whatever, it may be, also let us know so that we know, okay, this student is no longer interested in being nominated. Once we enter your name on the portal, it's very important. We cannot remove it. So it's not like we could, just delete it and swap it with somebody else if next week you say, actually, never mind. Okay, so this is a big opportunity, and we just want to make sure that it's for the students that really, are interested in the program and who benefit. Can you give us the story of, actually saying 1 second. Of Nest and Posse, how many students have gotten in and which schools in recent years? So I put it on the slides, the students who've gotten in recently. Can you see my slides? These are the students who've gotten in. This year we had Middlebury and Brandeis, August and Kunga respectively. And last year we had a student going to Vanderbilt. Oh, 2 Vanderbilts actually. And the year before, another student matched with Vanderbilt. So, well, unless you guys have any more questions, I think we're going to end the meeting now. I will send the recording to you and your parents. Feel free to email me. I won't be connected today for office hours, but I'll be connected tomorrow and Thursday. If you want to ask some individual questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Greg has a question. Greg, do you want
yeah, I wanted to ask, I wanted to ask what the main difference was between regular and STEM scholarships. Like, what's the difference between the two?
STEM scholarship is more for students who are interested in STEM, who are strong in math and science, who might be thinking about majoring in STEM, but not necessarily, it does not necessarily bind you to majoring in STEM. And if the Posse committee sees that you might be a better fit for a regular nomination, they will evaluate you as a regular candidate. Okay. Okay, guys, it was so nice to see you. We'll be in touch, and please read our email thoroughly. Please check out the website and do not respond until you've processed all this information. Also, I see that August put their Instagram, so feel free to reach out to them if you have any questions. Thank you for that. And that's it. Have a great day.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.